coming. Thank you for those of you who helped with the decorations to our Halloween Lyrical Lounge. I'm excited to hear what some of you have brought in. Those of you who don't know me, it's me. I'm Dr. Willis. I'm an English teacher here. Also, I work with the honors students. And I would like to ask for some volunteers. Remember, if you volunteer to read, you get to take home one of these full-size candy bars. So since you're all too old to trick or treat, you might want to get ahead on your candy stock. So, who would like to go first? Come on down. And if you need a light, there's a light right here. Almost lost the candy.
Well, my candy doesn't fall away. I thought about losing the tails and just swap them out and keep them on all the time. Otherwise, they don't fall. You even have to turn one off.
Move it down. Just speak into the mic.
But you can swap it.
Is that good?
That's fine.
Spiders. Spiders. Creepy, satanic, crawling, jumping, climbing. Spiders are the devil. Spiders.
Now that's a poem I can get behind. I hate spiders too. I've been known to go to great lengths to get rid of them in my own house. Somebody else like to volunteer?
Okay, the poem I'll be reading is The Raven by Edgar Poe.
Make sure you speak into the mic.
Okay. The poem that I'll be reading is from Edgar Allan Poe. It's called The Raven. It's fairly long. Distinctly, I remember it. It was in bleak December, and each separate giant ember wrought at its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow. For my books secrets of sorrow, sorrow from the lost Lenore. For the rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, nameless as forevermore. And the silken satin, uncertain, rustling of each purple curtain, thrill me, fill me with fantastic terror never felt before. So that now to still the beating of my heart, I still repeating, 'tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This is and nothing more. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. Sir, and said I, or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact at it I was napping, and so gently you came a rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door. That I scarce was sure I heard. I opened wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting and dreams no more ever doubted to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token, and only word that was spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I was whispered, and the echo murmured, and back the word, Lenore, merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all of my soul was within me burning. Soon again I heard tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely there is someone at my window, like teeth. Let me see them, what there is, and this misery explore. Let my heart be still a moment and this misery explore. Tis the wind and nothing more. Open here I found the shutters, when with many flirt and flutter, and in their steep a stately raven of the saintly days of yore, not Not the least obscene made he, not a minute stop or stayed he, but with mean of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched above a bust of flowers, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. I can't read anymore.
Would anybody like to continue the raven?
I guess I will. Just guess you will?
Oh, he's got. You're not going to finish the raven, right?
And I almost, I forgot the rewards. What would you like?
You don't
Snickers,
have
Three
to follow,
Musketeers, or
you don't
Milky Way?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Snickers, Three Musketeers, or Milky Way, or Twix?
Three Musketeers.
Such a difficult decision.
Oh, really likes it.
Thank you.
There you are. All right. Sorry.
You want to finish the raven before she
Do you want to finish the raven? Or?
She has something else.
Okay.
Oh, you want someone to finish the raven?
Why don't we finish the raven? Just have a seat right here and you can go down.
Real of this and nothing more. Back into the chamber, turning, all my soul within my burning. Soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely said that is nothing at my window ladders. Let me see then what their art is, and this misery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, wind admitting a flirt and flutter. In there stepped a stately raven of saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a minute stop or stayed he, but with mind of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of palace just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling. By the grace and stern decorum of the countenance of it wore, though thy crest be shown, and shaven thou, I said, art sure no craven. Ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lowly name is the night's Plutoan shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marvel this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly. Though its answer little meaning, little relevancy, bore, but we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door. Bird or beast above the sculpture bust, above his chamber door, with such a name as nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word be outpoured. Nothing further had he uttered, not a feather that he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered. Other friends had flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness, broken by reply so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, what it utters, it is only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster, to his songs one burden bore, to the dirges of the hope that melancholy burden bore. Of never, nevermore. But the raven, still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I will and cushion seat in front of the bird, and burst in the door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking, fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly gaunt, and ominous bird of yore, meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing. To the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom score, this in moan I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er. But whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall express, I, nevermore. Then men thought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by a seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the turtle floor, Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee. By thee angels have sent thee. Respite, respite, and nothing from thy memories of Lorraine. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nothing, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether temper sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore. Desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horrid hunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there, in their balm of Gilead, tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore. Tell this soul with sorrow laden if, within the distant Aden, it shall clasp insane maiden, whom the angels named Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whose angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our signs of parting, bird or fiend, I shriek upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Let me black bloom as a token of that lie, so hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beat from thy heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never filting, never sitting, never still sitting, on the pallid burst of palace, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all seeming of all the demons that is dreaming. And the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out the shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.
Very well done. Oh, take your reward.
Okay, this isn't exactly a poem, it's a short story, and the author published it anonymously, so I don't know who wrote it, but it's called The Cabin. There was a hunter in the woods who, after a long day hunting, was in the middle of an immense forest. It was getting dark, and having lost his bearings, he decided to head in one direction until he was clear of the increasingly oppressive foliage. After what seemed like hours, he came across a cabin in a small clearing. Realizing how dark it had grown, he decided to see if he could stay there for the night. He approached and found the door ajar. Nobody was inside. The hunter flopped down on the single bed, deciding to explain himself to the owner in the morning. As he looked around the inside of the cabin, he was surprised to see the walls adorned with several portraits, all painted in incredible detail. Without exception, they appeared to be staring down at him, their features twisted into looks of hatred and malice. Staring back, he grew increasingly uncomfortable. Making a concerted effort to ignore the many hateful faces, he turned to face the wall, and exhausted, he fell into a restless sleep. The next morning, the hunter awoke. He turned, blinking in unexpected sunlight. Looking up, he discovered that the cabin had no portraits, only windows.
I have an unknown home, or the author is unknown. It's called Not the Wind. Your body filled with dreadful chill stared at your desk in the white old quill. Windy night, the quill moved slight. You turned for the switch, seeking light. No light came, the bulb was dead. You thought of going back to bed. Suddenly noticed, quill moved slight. You approached with all your might. Not the wind, the window was closed. Heart raced, message exposed. You're reading Hoarder, ink was red. Not the wind, go back to bed.
Okay, I'm going to be reading a poem by Robert Herrick called The Hag. The hag is astride, this night forth to ride, the devil and she together, through thick and through thin, now out and then in, through never so foul be the weather. A thorn or a burr she takes for a spur, with a lash of a bramble she rides now, through brakes and through briars, over ditches and mires, she follows the spirit that guides now. No beast for his food, there is now range for the wood, but hushed in his lair he lies lurking, while mischiefs by these, on land and on seas, at no end of night are working. The storm will arise in trouble disguise, this night and more for the wonder. The ghost from the tomb, affrighted shall come, called out by the clap of the thunder.
Mine's called Snakes. Snakes, sneaky, slick, slithering, hissing, biting. I fear them greatly. Snakes.
All we need to know.
My poem is called Spiders. Spiders. Creeping, hiding, crawling, spinning, biting. They're outside my house. Spiders.
Okay. I have a house with no windows. I live in a house with no windows. A black curtain hangs on my door. The voices of conscience torment me. I live in a room with no floor. There's dirt in the corner I can't see. There's water that runs down the wall. There's mice in the attic above me and rats playing games in the hall. I live in a house with no windows and sleep in a room with no heat. The darkness of life that surrounds me keeps out the sounds of the street. I wake when the shadows have fallen and walk when the memory cease, when purpose in life has no meaning and only the wicked find peace. Each night that you sense I'm by you and you feel my breath as you sleep. It's me you keep thinking you're seeing as out from the shadows I creep. I live in a room with no windows. I live in a house that's now yours. It's my voice you think that you're hearing, for I died in a room with no doors.
Yeah, don't forget your candy bar later if you didn't get one.
Okay, I actually wrote this poem while I was in English class. I named it Halloween Day. The devil's crib open wide for all night's terrors to come in tides, filling the streets, goblins and all, reaping the benefits of the fall. Cheering and swinging baskets full, back to the house from the night's toll. Full of candy, heart's delight, to the bed for a good night.
I chose 2 poems because they were so short. The first one is Terror Threats. I wear a funny wig, my sister has a mask. We are well disguised to go about our task, to have fun with our friends, collecting candy to eat, as we terrorize the neighbors as we go trick or treat. The next one is titled, You Are What You Eat. If you eat any more pumpkin pie, you'll look like a pumpkin, said Mom to her 300-pound son with spray tan orange skin.
I'm going to quote Shakespeare, and it's concerning death. She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day. To the last syllable of reported time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing.
This poem is called Deer, and I wrote it. Deer, slender and brown, quick,
slick misfit. A night's drive is my worst nightmare because of deer.
Often the case around here.
This is called Wedding Terror. She ran her hardest as they chased, blood in her mouth she could taste. She looked back, eyes were wide. Wedding massacre, she was the bride. All her anger she held tight, looked ahead, saw just night. Suddenly stopped and turned around, ghostly figures from her town. Dead groom asked, "What have you done?" Anger she held was actually a gun.
This poem concerns the fear of heights. I love the water as blue as the sky. I love to swim, but only inside. I love when it's cold, when it makes me move faster. I love how I fly and the water seems to rapture. I love to dive, but not off the board. How the water seems so far away, and maybe I'll bump my head and forget yesterday. You see, I have a slight fear of heights, oh so real. But I still try, even as my eyes become unfocused and my legs start to shake. And maybe, just maybe, one day, my fear of heights will just evaporate.
Alright, this is called Tornadoes. A cloud rumble of thunder and flicker of light, threatening hues gray, green, and black. A wall and anvil supercell so high as nature prepares for its attack. A crack of lightning cuts the sky as hail begins to spit. Hot air meets cool, starts to turn, a sinister growl it emits. Slowly reaching the cloud grows down, it breathes and silence force, twisting, turning, churning winds.
I wish I had everybody here to thank that shared today. I have a poem here I would like to share, a couple actually. The second one's by John Donne. I always seem to gravitate to Donne when I'm doing a reading, but first I'd like to share a very short poem from my childhood. I have it memorized, so I should get it out. Trick or treat. Smell my feet. Give me something good to eat. If you don't, I will cry, and then I'll call the FBI. The real poets. John Donne, this is called The Apparition. When by thy scorn, O murderess, I am dead, and that thou thinkest thee free from all solicitation from me, then shall my ghost come to thy bed, and thee, fain vestal, in worse arms shall see. Then thy sick taper will begin to wink, and he whose thou art then, being tired before, will, if thou stir or pinch to wake him, think thou callest for more. And in false sleep will from thee shrink, and then, poor aspen wretch, neglected thou, bathed in a cold quicksilver sweat, wilt lie the verier ghost than I. What I will say, I will not tell thee now, lest that preserve thee. And since my love is spent, I'd rather thou shouldest painfully repent, than by my threatenings rest still innocent. Last call for volunteers. We're running out of time. Would anybody else like to share?
I see Brittany Holloway has one here too. I actually had 3, but since it was so popular today, I'll just do my favorite one. Old woman with cat. This was supposed to be something that you were afraid of, so osteoporosis, one of life's indignities, is such a splendid name for the disease. All those little O's, holes in the bone, where the rain gets in, rendering a crone. Like me, defective, porous as Swiss cheese. I'm riddled at the hips and knees, round-sided as parentheses, since my shrunken spine has known osteoporosis, and my extremities have shriveled into lacy filigrees, breakable as glass on stone. Naked at the window ledge I drone to my sleek, supple Siamese osteoporosis.
Would anybody else like to share
I
a
had
poem?
one, but I think
We are running out of time a little bit. It is 11:30. I wouldn't want to keep anybody from getting to class. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Make sure you thank those who read if you see them. Our next Lyrical Lounge will probably be the last week of November with perhaps a Christmas flavor to it. So I'm sure if you go into any retail store tomorrow, you'll be quite aware that it's the Christmas season. So thank you all for coming again. Thank you, PTK, for the decorations, and Dr. Bain, and everyone who came. And I look forward to seeing you next month.